Welcome to the Telangana Open School Society, to the students and the instructors of Telangana Open School. Today, as a part of this one, myself, am Rajendra Kumar, PGT Economics, would like to take a 10th class Social Studies on the Continents and Oceans chapter. What are the new textbook that one it is there as a part of this one. I am going to teach this lesson. Students, please keep ready what are the notes and as well as your maps or atlas, anything that one it is keep ready and watch this one. The learning outcomes of this unit it is describes the formation of continents, identifies the continents and oceans on the world map, explains the highlights of different continents, explains expansion of oceans, describes marine resources, comments on pollution in the oceans. So these are the learning outcomes of this unit. Now let us see the unit concepts. About the Earth evolution, let us learn about the Earth evolution, means how the formation of Earth has taken place. So scientists believe that the Earth was the hottest planet, and that over the time only the crust became stronger and the Earth core was still hot in liquid form. Whereas this what is the crust means, outer part whatever we are looking, that when it is it became cool and it became very strong. So still in the interior parts of the Earth, whereas we see still in the liquid form only it is. So in the interior part of the Earth also cool and shrinks. The crust will wrinkle and form high hill slopes and then seas. Means here we can see different type of the what are the structure on the Earth, like mountains, plains, plateaus. These all because of internal changes that one which took place in the oceans, in the internal parts of the Earth, we can say it as. For a long time in the history, there was no life on the Earth. Whatever the living organisms was not there, it is. After that, the life is began in the seas. What are the aquatic life is the first one, and over the course of the time, where we can see humans have evolved into the whereas a wide variety of the plants and animals also, that one we can see it is means here it is a slowly one by one creature that one it is emerged. If you look at the interior part of the Earth, means if we go into depth to the Earth, the center point it is around 6,000 kilometers, more than 6,000 kilometers it is there. The interior layers are very hot, and in this way the ever forming and perishable crusts, means here whatever the crust it is going on changing, that one it is a fact, that one it is still Earth is alive, means many more changes are going on taking it is. Earthquakes and volcanoes are caused by the process in the Earth's crust, that one it is taking place in this one. Now let us see the movements and the changes of the Earth, means nothing but the map, how that one has took place here it is. Alfred Wegener, who was one of the meteorologists, who is the scientist who did the research on the formation of the Earth. In the early 20th century, he proposed one theory which we called it as a continental drift theory, it is, to explain the present status of the Earth. He proposed that a land mass called Pangaea was covered a huge water body called the Panthalassa. Here it is, the Pangaea is one whatever the like land mass, and this Panthalassa is a water body it is. So Pangaea divided into many parts, majorly that one it is two major parts which we are calling it as a land of Laurasia or Angara land we are calling it as, and another one it is we are calling it as a land of Gondwana. So these are the two bodies what it is formed, where you can see in the map how this thing was there. Towards the north side we have this Laurasia, and towards the southern side we have the Gondwana land, and we can see this is the Tethys Sea. So here it is according to the continental drift theory. This is the Pangea what it is there, and you can see this, what are the water body blue colored one it is there, that one we call it as a Panthalassa. So what is the Tethys Sea is a part of this, what are the Panthalassa only. This, what are the two parts, that one it is, what are the Laurasia and Gondwana, these two are separated by the shallow sea which we are calling it as a Tethys Sea. It is, you can see here it is this, what are the red mark, this what are the region it is there, we have the Tethys Sea it is there. The present day territory is made up of these two major continents. That one it is, especially this, what are the Indian subcontinent is in the Gondwana region, means this is towards the southern side it is. The land of Gondwana split into pieces, and the Indian peninsula travelled northeast side and collided with the huge body much larger than the Gondwana. It is a Eurasian plate, it is Angara land it is. That is what, due to this collision the mountains are formed, whereas which is wrinkling over for a period of million years. We can see the what are the Himalayas are there, it is in the way of a formation like this only, it is because of the continuous collision with the what is the Eurasian plate it is. Here you can see this is the movement of the what are the Indian land towards the Eurasian plate. This is the Eurasian plate it is. Like this one the movement has taken the place in this one. Now let us see about the continents. Large areas of the land are called the continents. Continents are separated by the oceans and seas. The land was divided into 7 continents. They are, we can say it is Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, Australia and Antarctica. So this is a map, world map, what you can see. It is a various different type of different continents and the oceans you can see in this one it is. So Asian continent and African continent, North America, South America, okay, this is Europe and Antarctica, Australia, and this is Antarctica. These are the continents what we have. Students, see this, what are the outline map it is. Just you also can have one outline map and mark the continents in this map, so that you can have a map pointing practice which we can expect in the examinations. Now let us see about the Asian continent. It's the largest continent of all, and about 1/3 of the world land is here only. 1/3 of the land is belong to the Asia only it is. And if we see it is latitudinal wise, as already you have studied in the earlier chapter about the latitudes and longitudes. It is from the 10th degree of the southern latitude to the 80 degree of the northern latitude. Means here mainland of this continent of Asia is in the northern hemisphere only it is. Only southern hemisphere we can see very little it is there. And longitudinal wise if we see, it stretches from the 25 east longitude to the 170 degrees of the western longitude it is. Means maximum part we can see in the western hemisphere only. This is in the world map. If you see, this is the continent that what we are studying about, this Asia. If you see the boundaries of Asian continent, West Ural Mountains are there, means which is the common boundary for the European continent it is. And towards the southern we have the Indian Ocean, and towards the east the vast Pacific Ocean it is there, and towards the north we have the Arctic Ocean it is there. Of all the continents, Asia is having the highest mountain ranges, mountain peaks. More than 50 highest peaks are there in Asia. Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world at 8,848 meters it is there. And another one, it is Mount K2 is the second highest peak. That one it is in the Karakoram range. It is the highest peak in the India. It is. The Tibetan Plateau, which is known as the highest plateau that is there in this region. This is called as the roof of the world. It is because of it is the highest plateau that one it is there, and it is a birthplace of many glaciers. You know what is a glacier? Glacier is nothing but it is a movement of a very big ice one, where from that one so many rivers are originated. It is rivers get water from these, what the glaciers are there. It is like river Ganga, it is getting the water from these glaciers only. There are many islands in the Asian continent. It is majorly we can see the Philippines, Indonesia, Japan and Taiwan are the main island countries we can see in this one. And Indonesia is the largest what is the archipelago it is. Because of it contains so many hundreds of the islands it is. So Andaman and Nicobar Islands in India and the Lakshadweep Islands also it is there in as a part of India. Here you can see this is the Andaman and Nicobar one it is. The climate of Asia is as you know it is quite vast, so different type of the climatic conditions we can see because of the continent stretches from Siberian region and the North Pole and up to the tropical Indonesia region. So that is what Asia experiences various type of the climates. It is winters are coldest in the Central Asia with the temperature almost below 0 degrees. It is Verkhoyansk is the coldest place in the Siberian region. This is in the Arctic towards the Arctic region, whereas we can see minus 67.68 degrees, whereas we can see here in this one. During the summer, the equatorial oceans have the highest barometric pressure. Wind blowing in the direction of the central and northeastern parts during the summer it is. We call this one as a monsoon type of climate it is. Why? Because of immediately after the summer we will get the rainfall it is. That type of climate condition we call it as a monsoon type of climate it is. Here it is a Mawsynram, which is located in the northeastern part of the India, is the wettest, one of the wettest places in the world it is. Almost every day the rainfall will be there in this region, Mawsynram. Agriculture is one of the main occupation here it is. Fertile soil and adequate water and the climatic conditions are quite suitable, and in the continent from the ancient to modern practices, whereas we can see in this one. So here it is a shifting cultivation is there, intensive cultivation is there, extensive. These three are the methods we have it is. So food crops like we can see rice, wheat, rye, oats and other smaller cereals are grown in this one. We can see cotton, jute, sugar cane are the major the commercial crops. Even we can see tea and tobacco also, that is widely grown in this one. Asia is very important for the minerals. We can see iron, manganese, bauxite, mica, tin, coal. These are the natural gases what we can see in this continent. Population, if we see, 60% of the world's population lives in the ASEAN continent. And if you see, as we know that one, China and India, China is the first populous country and India is the second one. That is what 1/3 of the world population is there in these two countries only. And Bangladesh is most populous country. Means here it is a most populous means here it is we can see the density. Means what are the for the square kilometers, if you see maximum number of people are living in Bangladesh. The same thing per square kilometer in Mongolia it is very low. Why? Because of Mongolia is called as a cold desert. A very cool climate will be there. So that is what most of the people will not live in that one. The population is spread over the rivers, plains and delta regions. It is most of the population in the Asia is a rural population. It is in the rural. Now let us see about the Africa, which is the second largest continent in the world. It extends from 37 degrees 3 minutes north to 35 degrees of the south. Means this Africa is spread in both the hemisphere, towards the north and as well as towards the south hemisphere. It is the equator, the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn and Greenwich. These all will pass us through this continent. Here you can see this is the what are the equator. You can see Bhumidhya Rekha, the equator, and the Tropic of Cancer. You can see here it is, and Tropic of Capricorn also, and even what are the Greenwich, what are the prime meridian also, that one will pass through this continent only. It is. If you see the boundaries of this continent, towards the north we have the Mediterranean Sea. It is there, and the northeast the Suez Canal and as well as the Red Sea. It is there, and the east we have the Indian Ocean. It is there towards the east side, and west side we have the Atlantic Ocean. It is there, and towards the southern side we have the what is the Southern Ocean. That one it is there. So like this one, these are the boundaries of Africa. Just please examine this, what is the map in your atlas. If you see about the mountains of this one, Africa, it looks like a very huge plateau, very big plateau it is. This plateau is mostly elevated towards south and east parts. It is. The Atlas Mountains and Drakensberg Mountains are very important in this one. Mount Kilimanjaro is one of the highest peak of the Africa. It is there in this Drakensberg Mountains only. And one of the important feature that when it is towards the eastern side we have the what is the Sahara Desert. It is quite one of the vast desert in the world that one we can see in this region only. So it is we can see the exotic rivers. Here exotic rivers means the rivers which will flow through the what are the deserts are there. Means here it is originated somewhere in the outside of the desert, and it will flow through the desert and it will merge into the some ocean. It is the river Nile and the Orange rivers are the exotic rivers in this region. So because of the Nile river, the Egypt is developed. That is what Egypt is known as a gift of the Nile. It is the Zambezi, Congo, Niger and Limpopo. These are the important rivers that one will flow through this continent. And we see some oases. Oasis means here it is a small water bodies that one which will form temporarily in this region. Climate wise, if you see, here Africa is as we know it is spreaded almost most hemisphere, so tropical climate, whereas we can see very hot climate. It is another desert also. It is there, Kalahari Desert, which is towards southwestern part of Africa. It is there. Average temperature we can see 32 degrees in the southern west part of Africa, and whatever the total average temperature of the continent is 20 degrees centigrade. But here it is experiences high temperatures and as well as even the rainfall also in the central part of Africa. Why? Because of due to high temperatures, water vapor is more, and as well as it is almost every day in the, after the afternoon we'll experience the rainfall in this region. It is, and because of it is having the very good water, the forest, we can see this one. And the highest temperature in the world, that is 58 degrees recorded in this continent. That one it is in Libya. The place is Al Aziz. Agriculture, if we see African continent is not much suitable for the crops. Only 10% of the land is suitable. East Africa, what are the volcanic soil, the Nile, very fertile soil, are very important for this. What are the agriculture it is. Central Africa is covered with dense forest and serves as a good natural resource. Shifting agriculture is practiced here. Shifting means here it is they will clear the forest, they will raise the crop, and when it lose fertility, then they will shift to the other places. This is called as a shifting agriculture it is. Wheat, rice, maize, these are the important crops we can see. Date palm is very important in the desert regions. Population, even though it is having the 50 countries, but only 14% of the world population lives in this one. Why? Because of most of the places with the forest and as well as desert it is there, so that is what they are not living here. But ancient people are there in this one, whereas by hunting animals, raising the livestock and farming, they are staying in this one. About 70% of the people are there, black people who are the native one it is, and the rest came from the other continents in this one. We can see some of the ethnic group of the people here it is. The tribal people it is. Pygmies, they are in the Congo region, Bedouins, Sahara Desert, Bushmen, Hottentots, they are in the Kalahari Desert, Maasai, East Africa, Semites, north part of Sahara, Hematites, they are in the Sudan and West Africa it is. So Nigeria is the country with the highest population in Africa we can see. Now let us see the next continent. It is the third largest continent, that it is North America. So this is totally in the northern hemisphere it is there. So this is the region what you can see in this one. It is extended 7 degrees of the north latitude to the 83 degrees of the north latitude, and the 20 degrees of the west longitude to 120 degrees of the west longitude. So totally it is located in the western hemisphere and the northern hemisphere it is. Tropic of Cancer passes through this continent, and if you see the boundaries of the continent, Atlantic Ocean in the east, Pacific Ocean in the west, Arctic Ocean towards the north side, and the South America towards the south side it is there. And it is when compared to the India, 8 times it is larger. In the map, world map, you can see this is the continent which is spread in the northern hemisphere it is there. Mountains, plains, if you see in this one, the western part which is called as a Western Cordillera, that one it is very important. Mount McKinley is an important peak in the Alaska, that one it is the highest one in this region. The vast middle plains stretch between the Western Cordillera and Eastern Plains are very important for the agriculture. Mississippi, Missouri, St. Lawrence, Mackenzie are the important rivers that one we can find in the North America. The climate, if we see, the climate is based on the Western Highland and Appalachian Mountains. Why? Because of here it is vast central plains are affected by the cold winds from the north side and as well as hot winds from the south side. So that is what here it is a lot of effects are there with these two. Desert type of climate we can find in the northern Mexico and southern parts of the United States. Northerly winds make winter cooled. It's a very colder season that one we can experience in this one. And in summer, what is the proximity to the sea makes the west coast cooler and central part of the country as warmer, but not very hot. North America has all the type of the kinds of climates. Rainfall is low in the intercontinental region, means inside the continent it is somewhat less. There are even some deserts also in these regions. 12% of the total is under the agriculture, but in spite of that one, only 2% of the people are dependent on the agriculture, and they are doing this extensive agriculture. Means not only having the crops, but even with that one animal rearing also it is there. Here quite scientific methods they will adopt for the agriculture. Corn, wheat, cotton, tobacco, oats, barley, soya bean. These are the important crops that are grown in North America. Population, if you see, density is very less, 15% per square kilometers. Why? Because of air, it is most of the part is under the cool region, and in the most parts of the western part of the continent, the population density is less than 2%. Around the lakes on the east coast of the North America, it is mostly densely populated. 15 major cities are there on the east coast. The climate in this region is cool, and majorly fuel and minerals are supporting the population here it is. And very good facilities, transport facilities we can see, means in the world itself we can see the quite developed regions in this region. Now let us see about another continent, that one it is South America. South America is mostly in the southern hemisphere, and we can see in the western hemisphere also. It is bounded by Pacific Ocean towards the west side, Atlantic Ocean towards the north side. To the northeast we have the North America, Caribbean Sea, it is Caribbean Sea towards the northwest. The continent is extended from 12 degree of the north latitude to 55 degree of the south latitude. Means we can say it is a maximum part it is there in the southern hemisphere only. It is 35 degrees east longitude to the 81 degrees of the west longitude. The continent of South America is triangle in shape. In the northern part, if you see, it is wider and narrower as it if you go towards the southern part. It is that is what it looks like, a leaf between this, what is the Pacific and as well as Atlantic Oceans. It is. You can see this is the what are the like a leaf, what it is there in the world map. This is the South America, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and we can see whatever the it is a Tropic of Capricorn we can see, and as well as this whatever the equator, it is passing through this one. It is towards the northern parts of the South America. The western mountain ranges extended a few thousand kilometers parallel to the west coast. Means here it is along the west coast we can see the quite lengthy parallel mountain ranges which are called as Andes mountains. These are the longest ranges after the Himalayas. It is covered with the snow throughout the year, and we can see the volcanoes also in this region. Cotopaxi is one of the important, most active volcano in the world. Angel waterfalls in Venezuela is the tallest one it is, and it can only we can see from the aeroplanes. It is that much height we can see. The Amazon River is the largest river in the world in the terms of volume. Means more water we can see in the Amazon River. It is the Amazon, the Orinoco, and the Parana are the main rivers that one it is in the South America. The climate, much of the continent is in the tropical region, so that is what a hot type of climate we can see. It is heat is very high. The region experiences high temperatures and rainfall throughout the year. In South America, rain follows the sun. Means towards which side the sun is there, towards that side the rainfall will be there. It rains in the north when the sun is in the north, and in the south when it is in the south. South America is also having all the types of the climates. Agriculture. Wheat, maize, coffee, sugarcane and cotton. These are the main crops we can see in South America. Argentina is the largest producer of the wheat and exporter also. Brazil's coffee is very famous, whereas the world largest producer of coffee, and even it exports also the coffee, largest exporter of the world. And Brazil is also one of the leading exporter and producer of the cotton crop, it is there. Cuba, which is called as a sugar bowl of the world, the largest producer of the sugar cane we can see here. Population, if you see, in South America we can see three major races: American Indians, blacks and the Europeans. Now we can see the mixed species are there. In that one major one, it is a mestizo, it is there. Most of the population lives in the port cities and the capitals. The population density is 13 people per square kilometer. Now let's see one another continent. That one is Antarctica, which is towards the southern pole. That one it is there in the southern hemisphere. The trans-Antarctic mountains divide the continent into two natural zones called as East Antarctica and West Antarctica. And there are no countries in Antarctica. There are no political one. It is because of it is 98% it is covered with the ice sheets, and 90% of the world's ice is located here, and 70% of the world fresh water also we can see here. The largest glacier in the world, the Lombard and Badmore, are located in this continent only. This is the Antarctic. We can see it is from the bottom. We can see this one. On the globe, it is towards the bottom. It is like this one. It's the coldest continent, as it is covered with the total ice only. It is average temperature between minus 80 degrees in the winter and 5 degrees in the summer season. The year is divided into two parts. That one it is light and dark. Means many days it is in the light and many days, so many days in the dark it is. Here it is at the south. The sun rises on the September 23 and sets on March 21st. Means these, what are the period it is there, totally the light will be there on the polar region. But here what is the severity of the what is the sun rays are very less. Why? Because of here it is towards the polar region, sun rays will fall slantingly. So that is what much severity will not be there. Precipitation average is less than 10 millimeters per year, means no rainfall. But we can see the worst hurricanes in the world. It is the tufans we can see in this one. The what are the ice hurricanes we can see in this region. Agriculture, as it is totally covered with ice, so agriculture is not suitable because of this one. Antarctica is called as a treeless continent. It is no trees are there. It is many type of penguins are there here. It is you can see in the picture. These are the penguins. And this stand as a symbol of Antarctic bird descent. It is these birds are large in areas favorable to them. That group of these, what are the penguins, we call it as a rookeries. These are the rookeries, what it is. And the population, if you see, as we know that when there is no permanent population, and even temporary population also, because of the various countries has established the research centers, it is. So that is what, whereas we can see this one, it is. Their number of assistants is about 1000 in winter and up to 5,000 in the summer when it is. India also established one of the scientists, one of the research center which is on the name of what is the Maitri and South Gangotri it is called as. Now let's see an important another continent, that it is Europe, which is 7% of the land area it is there, and which is stretches between the 35 to 72 of the north latitude, means it is a totally in the northern hemisphere, and 10 degrees of the west to the 60 degrees of the eastern longitude. The 0 degrees Greenwich mean time, that when it passes through the London on this continent only it is. That one it is taken as a what are the mean time of the world it is. To the north of this continent we have the Arctic Ocean, and towards the south Mediterranean Sea is there, and to the east Ural Mountains are there, which is common for the Asia and as well as the Europe it is. And to the west Atlantic Oceans are treated as borders of this continent. Also here you can see in the picture, this is towards the Arctic, towards the north side, and Atlantic, and here it is sharing with the Asian continent, the Ural Mountains we can see here it is, and this side we have the Mediterranean Sea it is. Mountains, if you see, Alps are the most famous mountain ranges. We can see here it is Elbrus Peak, that one is highest point, that one it is the French Alps and the Caucasus. And the plain in the Western Europe, called the plains of the Western Europe, the ones in the east and are called as a Russian platform it is, because of a maximum we can see in the Russia only it is there. The Alps in the Europe are the main source of many rivers. We can see Olga, Danube, the Rhine, the Seine, and the Garonne and the Po are the important rivers we can see in this continent. Here in the map you can see this is a European continent it is. The climate, whereas we see that when it is in the north temperate zone, so the mixed type of the climate we see here it is. Rainfall occurs during the winter in this region, about 80 to 130 centimeters of the rainfall will be there, and mostly in the summer there is no rainfall. 30% of the Europe land is in the agriculture, and mostly mixed farming is done, both the cattle rearing and as well as even the farming it is there in this one. And we can see wheat, corn, rye, barley and olives are the important the crops we can see in this one. Mediterranean climate, that one supports the olive oil production, because of the olive farms are quite suitable here in this region. So we can find out olive oil in the Mediterranean region. The population wise, if we see, it is 1/5 of the world population we can see in the Europe. It is a little bit populated only because of the suitable conditions it is. And towards the tundra regions like Iceland, Scandinavia, and northern Europe, and even northern Russia also having less population because of the tundra region. Italy in the central plains, and from the France to Moscow, and these are all the places where the people of 50 to 100 density per square. Now let's see the smallest continent, that one it is Australia, which is in the total in the southern hemisphere between the Pacific and Indian Oceans it is. Between 9 degrees to 44 degrees the southern latitude, and 112 to 154 of the eastern longitude it is. If you see mountains, plains and the rivers, the great dividing range it is there, or else which we call it as eastern highlands in this Australia, the main mountain ranges, and the 5th longest mountain range in the world. Mount Kosciuszko is the Australia's highest mountain point it is, mountain peak. Murray and Darling are the important Australia's major rivers. Lake Eyre is the largest lake in this region. You see, this is the continent Australia, it is in Pacific Ocean one side and Indian Ocean it is there, and towards the southern side we have the Antarctic region it is there. Climate, if we see, as we know, it is located in the southern hemisphere. It is quite reverse to the northern hemisphere. So summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the Australia, and winter in the northern hemisphere, summer in the Australia. And Australia's mainland is 55% with the desert only it is there. Northern part of Australia, it will receive the rainfall due to this the monsoon type of climate it is there. Here in the world map you can see this is the Australian continent it is there. Agriculture, as we know that one, it is insufficient rainfall in the most of the areas. Only 4% of the land is under the cultivation. Wheat, barley, oats and corn are the important crops. Sugarcane, tobacco and cotton are the cash crops that one are grown in this region. Population, if you see, Australia is called as urban continent. Why? Because of the most of the people live in the urban areas only. Because of the central the mainland it is there, that one is not suitable for the living. So only the coastal areas we can see the population is there. Major cities like Perth, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Canberra and Adelaide are there in this one. Students, now let's see about the oceans. As we know that one, we have already studied that one, it is one of the large water bodies, whatever it is said, that one it is, we call it as oceans. So geologists divided this one, it is into the five, that one it is the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean and the Southern Ocean it is, Arctic Ocean. All this ocean together, once upon a time it was called as the Panthalsa. Earlier we have studied about this one. So of which in this one, the Pacific Ocean is the largest one in the size and as well as in the surface area it is. So in the map you can see this one, it is the Pacific Ocean. Here Pacific Ocean you can see towards this side and towards this side also, east and west. Why? Because of here it is, as you know, the globe is it is like a ball, and so this surface and this surface is same. Towards the north, the Arctic Ocean you can see here, and between these the Europe and as well as North America we can see this total region, Atlantic Ocean and Indian Ocean and the Southern Ocean. Here it is, oceans are mainly for the resource it is. Internationally, what are the cargo, means what are the transport of various items that one taken place by the seas of this one, and many people who live in the coastal areas depend on the fishing only it is. So there are many different sources of life and resources in this one. As we know that salt, magnesium and manganese, petroleum, this all we will get maximum from the oceans only it is. Even the scientists are trying to generate the electricity also because of this, what are the waves that one it is there of the ocean. What are the wave motion, with that one they are trying to develop this, whatever the electricity it is. Research is still going on in this one it is. So that is what here it is, the seas became a very good resource for the human beings it is. It is one important thing that when it is the pollution of the oceans. Here it is due to disposal of industrial, agriculture and residential wastes in the oceans. Most of the oceans are polluted it is. 80% of the marine pollution is from the land only it is. And residues of pesticides released into the seas, plastic, these are the quite harmful for the aquatic life it is. This what the marine life it is there. So whatever the marine life, when even the man eat these what are the marine food, even that is a danger for the human beings also it is. Plastic and other toxins enter the body of marine animals, and when these products are eaten by the human beings, even the human beings also caused many diseases it is. So crude oil spillages also, it is one of the important for the this what are the pollution, because of the ships which are carrying the crude oil and the ships which are running with the crude oil, that one it is spills into the sea, and we can see the pollution of that one also it is. In the many cases whereas ships are leaving unnecessary waste. So marine pollution is also by the mining, because of various minings are taking place in this one. So like this one, pollution is one of the dangerous one for this oceans it is there. Now students, we come to the end of this unit. Here it is we are giving some sample questions. You have to frame some more questions in this way, and you have to practice that one. Name the continents in the southern hemisphere. Explain about the climate of Asia. Name the important tribes in Africa. Explain the importance of oceans. Comment on the pollution of the oceans. Students, read the textbook well, and what are the practice questions well, so that you can practice even you practice the world map, or else what are the maps are there, that one you have to practice well, so that you can score very good in the examinations. With this one, I come to end of this lesson. We'll meet with the another lesson. Thank you.